Hello, I am Ausolot, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what I believe what the Pokemon starters for LegendsZ-A are going to be. Alright, so obviously we haven't even had any starters announced for these games, and all we have is speculation. However, with a bit of educated guesses, I can kind of maybe predict what the starters of the predictions that I think would be. So in this video, it's just gonna assume that we know the starters, which my predictions were that I mentioned in a previous video I've uploaded. My starter predictions. There should be a link. Wait, this corner on my face, perhaps. There should have been a link on my face to what my predictions for the starters for LegendsZ-A are going to be. Alright, so these are my 3 predictions of what the Pokemon LegendsZ-A starters are going to be. We got Serperior over here, we got Cinderace, and we got Empoleon. These are my 3 predictions. I did process of elimination through all of them and gave my vague descriptions on why I think they could be in the game, but in this video I'm going to go into detail into why I think each one is going to be in the game and what typing they would probably have if they were added to the game. So let's jump into it. Made my fun little thing here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Alright, so these are the starters for Pokemon Legends Arceus. So there's a few patterns we can maybe follow from that game to Pokemon LegendsZ-A. So obviously fire is good against that, you know, grass is good against water, and etc, etc. But also fighting is good against dark, and dark is good against ghost. And Ghost is technically good against fighting, not because Ghost is super effective against it, it's because Ghost can't even hit fighting. So it's very odd that they did this, because normally they would give the starters, like, it would give something good against the fire type, or the ghost type, or the fire type against that. So they made it like a double benefit against its rival, its starter that it's good against. This is probably because this is going to be a single-player game, and Legends Arceus was a single-player game. So that's probably what they're going to do for Pokemon LegendsZ-A. It's only speculation, but we can kind of guess as to why that is. And yeah, so that's my initial prediction for that. Let's get these guys out of the way and let's bring in our new starters. So yes, we all know that Serperior is a grass type, and actually a solid grass type, or soul grass. It's only a grass type, and Cinderace here is only a fire type, which a lot of people heavily disliked in the 8th gen. I don't mind him. Rillaboom's my favorite starter, and he only has 1 typing. He can only go up, right? But then Empoleon here is a water steel type, so very interesting. If these starters are true, what could they possibly be? Well, these are my predictions. Spit on my monitor. These are my predictions: Fairy, Steel, and Fighting. These are a very decent typing for these Pokemon. We can follow the same structure. Fairy is super effective against grass, as grass is good against water. Fighting is super effective against steel, and water for fire, and then fire for grass, and steel for... So it's a nice little circle there. But I also have a little bit more evidence to back this up. So let's go to Cerebee's official website and check out some interesting information there. Alright, so let's look at Decidueye as to why it was a fighting type. And for every single Pokemon I'm going to go over, I don't need to go to each gen because I already went through all of them and they all didn't have a typing. Like Decidueye here in standard level up never gets a fighting type attack. And I'm going to ignore TMs in this list because some of them overlap, but that's a very few and far between. So for this argument, it's going on evidence that the Pokemon doesn't have the typing that I believe they're going to get. So like, you know, Decidueye, the starter that we got a Hisuian form of, doesn't have a single fighting type attack. He's got dark, flying, normal, bug. It's not gonna be a bug, so yeah. Let's go over to Cyndaquil. Alright, here is Cyndaquil. So Cyndaquil was a fire ghost type in Pokemon Legends Z-A, and as we can see, not a single ghost type move. And like I said, I've gone through every single generation, and they all are the same thing. For some reason, he gets Gyro Ball or Euro Ball. Maybe he's rolling goats at people. We'll call it Gyro Ball. For some reason, he gets Gyro Ball, which is a steel move in some of these earlier generations, which is really weird. But yes, he has no ghost type moves in his arsenal via leveling up. So let's check out Slashy/Man, Samurott. Alright, so here is Samurott. He was a water dark type of Legends Arceus, and he doesn't even have slashing. I might have it as his egg move, but none of them as its level up move. Not a single dark move in its level up list. So far, this theory holds true. It even has a flying and bug move. Bug moves are kind of because it's got a horn, usually why, but not a single dark move. So let's look at the new trio that I've proposed that could be the new Pokemon Legends/Z-A starters. Alright, so here's Serperior. So this is the grass type that I believe could be grass fairy type in the new game. And as we can see, not a single fairy move. This also disqualifies it from being a poison because it has poison. And normal is kind of whatever. They're probably never going to make a starter normal type. It'd be interesting. A normal fighting ghost trio. I'd be down for that, but yes, he's never going to be poison because he's got, these are non-attacking moves, so it's fine. But yeah, fairy, I don't even know if he knows any fairy moves via TM. He knows a lot of dragon moves, which is weird, but they're not going to make him a dragon type. So yeah, so far this theory holds true with Serperior. So no fairy moves, could be a fairy. So let's check out Cinderace. Alright, so here is Cinderace, and I propose he's going to be fighting Steel type. And if we check out his really weird moveset, not a single Steel move. This is starting to look like definite fact more than speculation at this point, but yeah, he's got flying, fighting, psychic, fighting, so he's probably never going to be so he's probably not going to be a fire fighting type, or maybe even a fire psychic type, or fire flying, flipping his ears off. I don't know. But yeah, not a single fire, or not a single steel type, so that is very interesting. So yeah, let's check out the final Pokemon that I believe will be in this new game, which is Empoleon. Alright, so here is our final starter, Empoleon. So, I believe he is going to be a water fighting type, and if we look at his little level up list of moves, not a single fighting type move. He's got flying, ice, flying, steel, so he's probably never going to be an ice or flying type ever if he gets a second form, or in this generation. And what is very interesting is for Generation 9, they actually changed his hidden ability from Defiant to Competitive. If you don't know what Defiant does, it's actually the opposite to Competitive, which instead of special attack, it's his physical attack. So maybe instead of being competitive for its hidden ability for Kalosian Empoleon, it could be Defiant, because it's going to be a fighting type. Although Empoleon, if we go all the way down, is more of a special type attacker. Maybe they'll flip it around and make it a physical type attacker. Who knows? That would kind of mess up the trio where, in my previous video where I guessed the starters, they had to each follow. They couldn't all be proficient in the same stats. So Cinderace attack, Empoleon special attack. They could make Superior go either way because it's neutral in both, but yes, this is more evidence on why I believe these are the typings for the starters for this new Pokemon Legends Z-A game. But let's go into more interesting facts about each of the Pokemon through history and other things that are in France that could be inspired by these Pokemon, or that Pokemon was inspired to make these in the game. You know what I mean. Let's go. Alright, so we're back over here. So, yes. Let's start with Superior. So, if you didn't know, Superior is actually, the artist who made Superior was actually heavily inspired by the Roses of Versailles. Versailles. Sorry if I butchered that horribly, but it's a manga that's inspired by France, or just France. I don't know what it takes. I read a synopsis of it and I got the gist of it, but this manga is about a woman named Lady Oscar. She was commander of the Royal Guard. Oscar was raised like a son, but embraces being a woman. Yeah, Lady Oscar was a woman, and she was born. She was raised by her father, who was, I think, leader of the commander, or the Royal Guard of the Queen, and because she was born like a son but embraces being a woman, that's why I thought being a fairy type could also be fitting, because usually fairy is a more feminine type. And what's very interesting, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but in Pokemon Black and White, the anime, I remember Ash's Snivy was for some reason specifically female. Because I remember, I think someone used Attract on it. I think it was an Emolga. It used Attract and it failed because both Pokemon were female. Very interesting attention, or not attention to detail, but a very interesting fact that is more evidence as to this could be a more, I guess, feminine Pokemon, being the fairy type, and it's based on a woman who was raised as a man but loves being a woman. So yeah. Also, I'm weird about Pokemon. If a Pokemon looks feminine, I want to make it female. If it looks masculine, male. If it's indifferent between the genders, probably male. So I might actually try to get a female one of Superior, just because it's based on Lady Oscar, which is, you know, a female character in the manga. It would be kind of weird to have a male one. That's only if these starters are true and will be in the game, which there's a lot of evidence there backing it up. But let's get into Cinderace now. So this one's a bit of a stretch, I'll be honest, but it does make sense because we're in the France region. We're in Kalos, which is based on France. So here we go. He is a soccer player. Football was first played in France in 1863, so that's a long time ago. It also is the most popular sport in France. Players wear cleats for better traction, which can be made of metal. You see where I'm getting here? It's a bit of a stretch, but maybe Cinderace could become a steel type and get little steel tootsies on his flamin' tootsies and maybe shoot molten steel. That'd be interesting. And also, steel is good against fairy. And also, spoiler alert, if you don't want to get spoiled on the ending of huge plot point in Rose of Versailles, whatever it is, main character actually dies in combat, and you know, from I think bullets, which are usually made of metal. I don't think they're gonna give Cinderace a freaking gun, but you know, it could be, you know. But cleats, you know, football, soccer players made of metal. it all kind of makes sense, right? They don't all have to mean the same thing, although Hisuian Samurott was a dark type for some reason, so an evil samurai or shogun, so it's a bit of a stretch. But I think it does make sense because we're, context provided. But let us do our last little point here for Empoleon. So Empoleon is based on, or just has inspirations from Emperor and Napoleon, or Emperor Penguin specifically. So Napoleon Bonaparte, he was an Napoleon was an emperor of the French. He was also a military commander because he, took over France. Killed a lot of people, but that's why I think he could be a fighting type, because military commander, and also he's an emperor, which Empoleon is literally the emperor Pokemon. And also I forgot to mention that Superior is the regal, which means like royalty, and Royal Guard is pretty royalty kinda. And also Fairy or Steel is good against, all the way around. Fighting is good against Steel, and Fairy is good against fighting. So it all makes sense in the trio that I've proposed for this trio. There's a lot of evidence backing this up. Doesn't mean it's all true, it's all speculation, but I kind of hope these starters are true, because I would love to have a Superior as a Hisuian variant. It would be ×4 weak to Poison, which does suck, and he would be ×4 weak to Ground, which would also suck. It's a pretty solid typing, and we just got a Water Fighting type, but that hasn't stopped him from making a bunch of Fire Fighting or Fire Ghost types. So, yes, these are my predictions on what the starters typings could be if the starters we got my prediction was Superior, Cinderace, and Empoleon are. Do you agree with me? I would love to read all your comments, your feedback. Maybe you have some extra little info or things that could dissuade. Is that a word? Dissuade? Unpersuade? The argument? Words are hard. Yeah, so this is my predictions on what the starters in Pokemon Legends Z-A's typings could be, assuming the video I did about the predicting the starters is true. So thank you so much for watching to the end of this video. It means a lot to me. If you want to support me, you can do so by subscribing. Help me out a great deal and let you know when my next upload is. So thank you so much for watching. See ya. Keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.